Namaskar and good morning to all. I welcome all to this webinar today. And today's topic is on sensory integration and sensory assessment. Almost all the children who are having developmental disabilities may require sensory stimulation at some or the other point of time. But out of this, children having ASD, autism spectrum disorders, as well as children who are having hyperactivity and attention deficits and all will require more inputs on sensory integration and more training on sensory integration and sensory stimulation. Today, we have Mrs. Kanchan Singh, who is an occupational therapist working at NIEPID headquarters, Hyderabad. She will be dealing with this topic on sensory integration and sensory assessment. Now I request Mrs. Kanchan to take over.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Morning, yeah.
Good morning, all participants. I welcome you all in this webinar. This is a webinar. Title is Sensory Integration and Sensory Screening. Right? Slides. Okay, right. थोड़ा और राइट इसको करते जाना ना मैं ओके so what is the definition of sensory integration? I think most of us all we know about what is sensory integration. Sensory integration is a term that has been used to describe the processes in the brain that allows us to take information that we receive from our surroundings or environment, organize it and respond appropriately. No, integration. Integration means interconnection. Interconnection or interaction of two or more senses. Because to perform any activity of daily life, our daily living activities, to perform any task, daily living task, we should have intact sensory integration. Our sensory integration should be intact. So sensory integration, it means it is all about putting together information from all the senses which allow us to participate in everyday activities. Putting together information from all the senses means now like in meeting we are sitting together, we are listening to each other. Okay, so our auditory system, it is intact. When we listen, auditory system. Then visual system, tactile, vestibular, proprioceptive, these are all sensory systems. So to perform everyday activities, we need our sensory system should be intact. So there should be a proper sensory integration for performing everyday activities. We receive information from surroundings. We receive information from surroundings through our senses and we organize it and then we respond appropriately, yeah, accordingly for that specific situation. By integrating or combining all the information we receive from our senses, then we can make sense of the world around us with sensory integration. Then we successfully move through and interact in our world. So what are the three main senses for sensory integration? We know the basic senses: visual, auditory, olfactory, gustatory, like that, tactile, vestibular and proprioception. These are main senses for sensory integration. Tactile, it is related to touch. It is also related to oral motor system, oral motor stimulation. Then vestibular. Vestibular system, it is related to body balance or the movement in movement or change in head position. Because while doing any activity, we need the movement of the head. Automatically it comes. automatically we move our head. So that is the vestibular stimulation, vestibular system. It is related to balancing of our body posture and the changing position of the head. Then proprioception. Proprioception, it is related to the awareness of our position, awareness of sense of position in space. For example, when we write, when we do the writing work, for that, we have to sit in a proper posture. We have to maintain that proper posture. And we are aware, okay, now I'm sitting on the chair. So I'm aware of my position. That is the sense of position. It is called as proprioception. It is called as proprioception. So sensory integration. So what is the goal of sensory integration? Sensory integration helps build the mental and physical framework. Mental and physical framework, okay, with an individual's nervous system to properly perceive sensory input, process that information, organize it, and then respond accordingly. So this is the goal of sensory integration. Okay. So this way, so what are the interconnections between the sensations, interconnections between the sensory organs? These interconnections, these start before birth. These interconnections between the senses, sensory integration, it starts before birth, and it still continue to develop as a person matures, and interacts with his or her environment. So this way we improve our sensory integration. Then sensory processing disorders. If the sensory integration is not intact, if the sensory, there is no proper function of the sensory integration, then it will become sensory processing disorder. It is called as sensory processing disorders. So what are the sensory processing disorders? Sensory processing disorders in which the brain has trouble receiving and responding information. The person with sensory processing disorder, he may have trouble in receiving the information, then in responding to the information that comes in through senses. Sensory processing disorder is formerly known as sensory integration dysfunction. That is dysfunction of sensory processing. So sensory processing problems are usually identified in children. It usually are usually identified in children. Like for example, autism spectrum disorder, children with autism spectrum disorder, we have children with ADHD, we have children with Down syndrome. So in these children, we can identify the sensory processing problems. But these sensory processing problems can also affect adults with intellectual disabilities. So they are commonly seen in the developmental conditions like autism spectrum disorders. So now sensory screening of the sensory issues. What issues the child or the person with intellectual disability may have. Specifically the child with autism spectrum disorder. What sensory issues he may have. Because of all these sensory issues, the child may have behavior issues. He may have poor sitting tolerance. He may roam from, continuously he will roam from one place to other. His sitting tolerance will be very poor. He will be hyperactive, and he will not make eye contact with person and also with the object while playing with that object. So because of all these sensory issues, the person may have sensory issues, or we can say behavior issues, because though they are having speech, though they are able to communicate, but they don't have functional communication because of these sensory issues. So we are not able to understand what problem the child is facing. Child is not able to communicate with his parents or guardians what problems he is facing, because he is not able to communicate his problems and we are not able to understand them. So the child will become irritated and then he show his behavior issues. So what are the sensory issues? First sensory issue is the vestibular issue. Vestibular issue is related with balancing, body balancing or change in the head position. Okay. So the person with disorders, specific disorders, they may be over responsive or under responsive. Over responsive is also called as hypersensitive. Then under responsive is also called as hyposensitive. The child may be hypersensitive to some stimuli. The child may be hyposensitive to some stimuli. So depends on hyper or hypo, the child may have sensory issues. Okay. So what are the vestibular issues? The child may have difficulty. He may have difficulty in maintaining balance during dressing, especially when bending over to put legs into the pants or into socks. This is while dressing activity, self-care activity or daily living activities. The child may appear fearful of playground equipments or carnival rides because he is hypersensitive. Because the child is hypersensitive to the stimuli, he has that fear. He has fear of playground equipments. Like the child has fear on the swing. He doesn't want to do swing. He doesn't want to sit on the slide. He doesn't want to do sliding because he is hypersensitive. He has that fear. He has that fear that I will fall down. I don't want to do these activities. So fearful of the playground equipments or carnival rides. Then they may be fearful, they may are fearful of heights and stair climbing. The child has fear of the height and also of the depth. While seeing the height, while seeing the stair climbing, then climbing down the stairs, the child may have difficulty. He may have fear. Then also they engage in frequent spinning, jumping, bouncing or running. Some children, they seek these vestibular activities. They are hyposensitive. Hyposensitive to the stimuli. Say some children, or we can say most of the children with autism, they continuously spin, they continuously jump, they continuously runs because they are seeking that activity. They are seeking those activities because their body, it wants more activities. Their body is overexcited, or anxious for that activity. So he wants that activity more and more. So the child is continuously spinning. He will continuously move, continuously bouncing or running. Okay, next one. The child may lose orientation when the head is moved. For example, if the mother is asking the child, okay, to lace your shoes, tie the lace of the shoes, he is having fear to bend his head down because he's anxious. He's anxious for that activity, for that movement because of the vestibular issue. They need frequent movements, standing up, then sitting down. The child is not able to sit continuously on the chair. He may stand, then again he will sit. To maintain his proper mental status, to maintain his confidence, again he will stand, then sit. Then they constantly shift positions in their chair. Again, it may be because of the child may have hypotonic muscle tone. Because generally what we see, the child with intellectual disability or the child with autism spectrum disorder, Also the child with Down syndrome. The children are having hypotonic muscle tone. Yeah, we can say low muscle tone. So because of the low muscle tone or hypotonic muscle tone, the child is not able to maintain the position, the same position for longer time. Is not able to maintain that posture for the longer time. So the child will shift positions. He will stand, then sit, he will move. He will not sit in the same position for the longer period. Then, if he needs to look backside, he will turn his the whole body. He will not turn his head or hands to look at anyone. He will turn his whole body again because of the hypersensitivity for the vestibular stimulation. Then the child with vestibular issues, he is excited or anxious in an environment full of movements, means in the place of crowd. In the place of crowd, the child is, he has fear of that situation. He is not comfortable in the crowded place. He has that fear. Anyone will come from the backside and any person or any relative or any friend will come and touch him. He will hug him. So he doesn't want that. He doesn't like that hug. He doesn't like that touch because he is hypersensitive to that touch. So the child resists. Some children, they resist that touch, that hug. They don't like to hug anyone. Yeah, they don't like hugs from anyone. They don't like even the touching on the cheeks. Yeah, kissing on the cheek by his close ones. If the mother or any relative will kiss the child on his cheeks, he will rub that place. So this is about the vestibular issues of the children. Some children, they are hyposensitive. Some children may be hypersensitive to the stimuli. So depend on the sensitivity, hypersensitive or hyposensitive. The children will react according to that situation. Then about proprioceptive system. What is proprioceptive? Proprioceptive is the sense of position, sense of body position in space. Now I am sitting in front of laptop, so I am aware that I am sitting on the chair. The child with autism, he is not having that concept. He is lacking in proprioceptive system. He is not having proper vestibular and proprioceptive, because vestibular and proprioceptive, these two systems are interconnected with each other, because we have the sense of the sitting position, standing position. Along with that, we are balancing ourselves. We are balancing ourselves in the same place, and we sit for the same place in the same position for the few seconds or few minutes. But the child with autism, he will not have that concept. He may have that issue. So proprioceptive system, the child with proprioceptive issues, he may exert too much pressure while handling any object. I have seen practically the child with autism, he doesn't know how to hold the glass, how to hold glass of the plastic water bottle or glass. He doesn't know how much pressure he had to exert. That child, he was pressing that glass, he was pressing that plastic glass with his fingers, because he doesn't know, he is not having the concept how much pressure he has to exert. So the child is not having the concept of how much enough pressure needs to hold the glass, okay, to hold the glass or to hold any object. Like in morning while brushing, the child should have hold his toothpaste. He is not aware of how much pressure to put for holding the brush, for squeezing the toothpaste. Then again, regarding proprioception, the child, because of the hypotonic muscle tone, Because of the hypotonic muscle tone, they are not having proper muscle power. Proper muscle power for the fingers from the wrist joint, shoulder joint, elbow joint, and the muscles of the hand, muscles of the shoulder girdle. Okay. So because of hypotonic muscle tone and because of the proprioceptive issues, mainly the children with autism, they are not able to carry out their daily living skills like brushing, then like hold spoon and eat with the spoon, yeah, use of the spoon, then hold glass and drink water. uh, these small activities which are very important to us for daily living skills. So because of the hypotonic muscle tone and because of proprioceptive issues, the child is not able to carry out these activities. Okay, the child may he may enjoy rough and tumble play. The child is he doesn't know how to play with the activities. He doesn't know how to play with the toys. Like for example, car. If the child is having a toy car, he will rub that car forcefully. He doesn't know how much pressure he should need to put for moving the car. So he will play in a rough way. If anyone is seeing to the child how he's playing, he may understand that the child is playing in a rough way with the activity or in a rough way with that toy. But the problem with the child is with the proprioception and muscle tone. Proprioception, because he is not aware of how much pressure he should apply, how much pressure he should put for holding any object, yeah, for moving that car. He doesn't know, he's not aware of that. Then again, the child may seek deep pressure by squeezing between the furnitures. Most of the children with autism, what they do at home, they do squeezing between the furniture, edge of the furniture and the wall. If the sofa is beside the wall, the child will rub his body, he will squeeze himself in between the space of the edge of the sofa or table and the wall, because he seeks that deep pressure. He seeks that deep pressure to his body. His body needs that deep pressure. Then the child may drop objects constantly. Just now I told you, because of the hypotonic muscle tone. He's not having that much power in the muscles of the fingers, muscles of the wrist joint, elbow joint. Because when we are doing any activity, we need the movement of the whole hand, shoulder, elbow, wrist, then the muscles of the arms, forearms, and hand muscles. So we should have a proper muscle power. We should have a proper movement for holding a glass of the water and to take the glass to our mouth. We need that proper movement. For that, we need that proper range of motion, proper muscle tone. So because the lacking in all these areas, the child is not able, or the child will get tired. He may get tired while doing any activity of self-help. Maybe he may get tired by eating with spoon. The child is holding the spoon and is taking food to the mouth. He will drop that spoon easily because he is not having that much power. Then prefer chewy or crunchy foods to increase sensory inputs, because the sensory input in the mouth, it is less sensory inputs they are having, not sufficient sensory input they have in the mouth. These are the oral, it is related to oral motor issues. It is related to oral motor issues. So the children with autism spectrum disorder, they always need crunchy foods to chewing in between the teeth, because they need that input. They need that sensory input. For example, chips, they need for chewing content. Most of the children, what they do, if they are having any thread or any tabis in that, any locket, what they do, they choose that locket continuously, because they need that sensory input to improve the sensation in oral motor area. Okay. the child the child will not appropriately chew food because of again the low muscle tone, because of the low muscle power in the oral areas, yeah, oral motor muscles. He will not chew food properly. He will just swallow it. So because of that, he may get choking of the food. Then the children get tired easily, especially during meals that require chewing. Okay, the child who needs more sensory input, he will prefer the crunchy food item. If the child is having hypotonic muscle tone, he will not chew food. If any food, it requires a more chewing for the more time. He will become easily tired. He will say to his mother, "Mama, my mouth is paining, my muscles are paining. I don't want to eat more," because of hypotonic muscle tone of the oral muscles. Okay. Then the children prop up body, use hand under the chin or lean head on arm or body against table to stabilize for eating, because they are not able to maintain the position or posture for a long time because of hypotonic muscle tone. The child may stabilize his head on the table. He may stabilize, lean on his head on the chair on the backside. The children, they continuously see for the support, back support or hand support. For that support, why they need? Because they are not able to lift their hand, or because they are not able to lift hand for a long time, because they are not able to maintain the position of the head in space. So they always search for the back support. They always search for the hands to be supported. They always search for the chin to be supported. Chin for the supported for eating. They may have weak grasp. Just now I told you, weak grasp, weak hand muscles, power in the hand muscles, weak grasp. So because of the weak grasp, the child is not able to hold spoon, child is not able to hold glass or any other object. Then the children use a stimulatory behavior to maintain attention or to relieve stress. If the child is facing a lot of stress, what type of stress? In just a simple activity of having food, simple activity of eating food, because he is not able to maintain that position properly, he's taking support, he is putting his head on the table, he is leaning backside on the chair, and he is not not able to hold the spoon properly, not able to eat. So it is a stress, it is a tension, it is a very big tension for the child to eat independently, yeah, to brush his teeth independently. It is a stress. So what they do, then they start a self-stimulatory behavior to relieve that stress. Self-stimulatory behavior, just flapping of the hands, flickering of the fingers, okay, flickering of the fingers, yeah, flapping of the hand. This self-stimulatory behavior they start to relieve their stress, or tapping on the table. This is the stress relieving activity, self-stimulatory behavior. If the child is facing something stressful activity, he is having tension in his mind, then he will release that tension by hand flapping, yeah, jumping, yeah, bouncing. That is self-stimulatory behavior. Then the children lock joints to maintain posture. I saw so many children, they locks their joints on the chair also. While sitting on the chair, they lock their joints to maintain proper posture. Seem to enjoy falling and crashing. Some children, they just go, they move forward. They don't see if furniture is there. The child, I may get hurt with that furniture. I may get hurt with the stool or table. He will not think about that. He will just go along with that furniture. He may fall on that furniture, and he may get that crashing or hurt, but he will not feel that pain because he is hypotonic, because he is hyposensitive to that pain. It is related to tactile issue. It is related to touch issue. Prefer gross motor toys to manipulate because of the full body motion. Because Children, because of the proprioceptive issues and vestibular issues, they don't want to do fine motor activities like writing, brushing, eating, then playing with the small ball. What they prefer the activity like ball throwing and catching, big ball, because they are moving their full body. There is the movement of the full body during this activity. So this is about the proprioceptive system. Seek out deep pleasures and hugs. Some children, because before this I told ki some children they resist for the hugs or touch. Some children they like deep pleasure. They like that deep pleasure and hugs from the others. They continuously the child he may hug to his or her mother continuously because he needs that deep pleasure. His or her body wants that deep pleasure. Then squeeze self. Hello? Hello? Squeeze self into small places between the sofa and the wall instead of on the sofa. The child will not sit on the sofa. He will squeeze himself between the sofa and the wall. Seems to have weak muscles and prefer sedentary activities. Then continuous activities. Continuously he will play. Means there is no, they will prefer the activities of their interest. They don't want to perform the activities new. What are the new activities for them? What are the challenging activities for them? They don't want to accept those activities. The child will prefer only sedentary activities. Daily activities, what he is doing, the activity which is he is aware of that activity. He wants to do that activity only. Okay. Then about tactile system. Tactile system means touch. The children may avoid touch or contact if the child is hypersensitive to touch from others. Touching from others, yeah, hug from others, he will avoid that touch. He will avoid that contact. Dislike or avoid messy play. Messy play, like for example, play in a sand pit, yeah, play with play dough, playing the play dough or atta, wheat atta, yeah, maida atta. Some children they dislike, and some children they likes to play with that atta dough, yeah, play dough, because they want their body, their skin wants that touch. And some children they dislike because they don't want to touch that play dough or mud or soil. It means if they are not liking that activity, they are hypersensitive. If the child is want to do that activity, is hyposensitive. Then the children may appear irritated by some clothing or food textures also. Some children, I saw some children, they small children, 2.5 years, 3 years, even they don't want to wear their clothes. With their clothes, they get some irritation, yeah, skin irritation, yeah, itching problems. They suddenly remove their clothes. So with clothes also they are having some issues. Some children, yeah, most of the children, they don't accept new clothes. New clothes. They want to wear the old clothes. What is already they are using those clothes. They want to wear those clothes. Matlab used to clothes they want to wear. Old clothes. New clothes, yeah, new texture. Yeah, that new clothing irritates their skin. Also the same with the food texture. The child with autism, some children, not all the children, some children, they don't want to try new food textures. New food they don't want to try because of oral motor issues. Children may appear irritated when someone is in close proximity. Again, hypersensitive. Often appear fidgety. Fidgety means they want something in hands to for flapping, just to move that object. Some children they want some ball, wristwatch or chain linking or clips, any object like fidgety. They hold those object, yeah, that object, it functions for them as a fidgets. So they often appear fidgety. They always want something in their hands to touch or to do movements or to do that friction with the fingers and the object. Then mouth object. Most of the children, they put their clothes inside the mouth. Yeah, they take any object, they hold any object and keep in the mouth. It is called as pica, P-I-C-A, pica. The child is having the pica problem. He is not aware ki what is the food item, yeah, eatable, and what are the non-eatables. The child is not able to differentiate between the eatables and non-eatables. The child may hold anything and keep in the mouth. It is mouth objects. Then rub the spot that was touched. This like toothbrushing because of the taste of the toothpaste. Hypersensitive to that taste of the toothpaste. Then complain that toothbrush or hairbrush hurt them. Most of the children, they don't cooperate while trimming hair, while trimming their nails, because that hairbrush, they says to the mother, "Mama, it's hurting me. This hairbrush is hurting me. This toothbrush, I don't like this toothbrush. That toothbrush is hurting my tongue," because they are hypersensitive to that stimuli. Then reacts aggressively to touch. Some children reacts aggressively because if the child is not having hug or touch from any other, and suddenly his cousin or her cousin comes and he hugs to that child, he will react aggressively. But behind the aggression or any sensory issues of the child, some reason should be there. If the child is reacting or behaving in some way, we should find out what is the reason behind this behavior issue. Why the child is behaving in this way? We should find out the reason. If there must be some reason behind every issue of the child. Then they dislike touch to their bottom by diaper or napkin also. Then they want to wear clothes all the time or may prefer to be naked. Just now I told, okay. Then they may have difficulty in tolerating temperature change. Yeah, this is very, very important. Like weather gets changed. Winter season, then after that summer season, then after that rainy season. So in this temperature, they get irritated with the sudden change, because again in winter season they have to wear sweaters, woolen clothes. Then in summer season they have to wear pure cotton clothes. So those in winter season, those sweaters, yeah, woolen clothes, with that texture they get irritated. And also the high temperature, they don't tolerate that high temperature. Most of the children, even with the visually, they get affected. Visual perception also get affected in the sunny days in the month of March, April and May. Okay. Then they hate new clothes. Just now I told ki most of the children, they want to wear only the used clothes or old clothes. They constantly pull or rub clothing because of the irritation with that clothing. Then they need all the tags cut out. They get irritated on the neck with that tags. Prefer food of consistent texture and temperature, right? Food, what they are eating, what they eat daily, they prefer only that particular texture and temperature. Means if the child he likes the cool food with cool temperature, he will prefer that food also. Most of the children, what I saw, one child I will not forget that child in my life. He prefers only the hot food. Only the hot food he needs. If the food is getting cool, he will not touch that food. He wants to eat only the hot food. Because of that sensation, his mouth muscles needs, that sensation only. If the food is cool, chilled, he will not prefer that food. And the children, they don't feel food on face or maybe excessively neat. Some children, because of hypersensitivity to the touch sensation, the child, if he is getting while eating idli with chutney or dosha with chutney, if the chutney is stuck here or sticked here, he will just rub it, he will just clean that area. So he is hypersensitive and frequently gag when the texture of the food is changed. If the mother tries new food, if the mother she thinks about the new food trying with the child will gag suddenly with that new food because of tactile of the tactile sensory issue of the child. Then have poor awareness of pain and temperature in the mouth, decreased sensation that could lead to choking. They dislike getting messy. They don't use whole hand. Instead, prefer to use fingertips. Again, because of the hypersensitivity. If the mother is serving the child idli with dosha, with chutney, so he will touch that chutney only with the fingers. Not he will keep his fingers in the chutney because of hypersensitivity. He will touch and he will take idli with the chutney and suddenly he will clean his finger. That much sensitivity the child may have with autism. Then visual system. The children may appear uncomfortable in strong sunlight. In strong sunlight, the child is not able to tolerate that sunlight. Appear sensitive to changes in lightning. Sensitive to changes in the lighting. If the lights, the color of the lights are getting changed, like series, decorative series, there are different colors in the lights. The child he's very sensitive. His eyes or his vision is not tolerating those changes in the lighting. The children may turn away from television or computer screens. It is irritating for them. And they focus on shadows, reflections, or spinning objects. Most of the children, they focus on shadows of their bone, reflections of their bone, then spinning objects. Have difficulty in scanning the environment of desired objects. Scanning the environment of desired objects. If the child is liking any object, he is getting difficulty in find out that object in the environment because of his hypersensitive to visual or hypersensitive means again oversensitive to the visual system. Hyposensitive means under responsive to the visual system. So because of the hypersensitivity, the child is not able to bear the strong sunlight. The child is not able to scan the desired objects in his environment. Then the children may have difficulty in guiding movement while using a mirror. If we are guiding any movements, oral motor movements in front of the mirror, the child is not able to follow those movements or oral motor exercises because he's getting irritated with that reflection in the mirror. Then they may get fascinated by the bubbles or dripping water. They may have difficulty in tolerating the reflection of light of the water or shiny sink. In sink also, in wash basins also, if there is a reflection of the light, the child is not able to tolerate that reflection. They may have difficulty in finding clothing in closet or drawer because of the visual hyposensitivity. Hyposensitivity means their visual system is not proper. They are under responsive with the visual system. They are not able to find out the objects in the their wardrobe. Then also have difficulty in matching socks and shoes. Color. Here it's a concept of color. Most of the children, they have color blindness. They may have color blindness. Have difficulty in finding buttons or zipper on a garment because of the colorful. If the that shirt or t-shirt is a colorful, top is colorful, and there are the colorful buttons, the child is not able to find out that button or open the button. Then they may be bothered by patterns on the table or plate. If the plate or the table is patterned one, he will not bother, or he will give he may be hypersensitive to that pattern also. He may not bother, or he may bother. There are two situations. There may be two conditions. If he is hypersensitive, then he will bother. He will resist to go to that near to that table, or he will not touch that plate. He may get irritated. His eyes may get irritated with that bright patterns on the plate. If he is hyposensitive, then he will continuously look at that pattern on the table or the plate. Then they have difficulty finding the food or cutlery against a patterned tablecloth. Have difficulty finding an object against cluttered black background. Again, okay, hypersensitive to the visual stimulation. They are not be able to scan across a page without losing one sentence. Even with a child with visual sensory issues, the child is not able to scan across a page. He will not see that page properly without losing a sentence. While reading, while writing or while reading, the child may he may avoid his sentence where he was, what sentence he was reading, or where he was writing on that page. He may get that problem. Then often loses place while reading. He may get hesitate going up or down the stairs, again because of the hyposensitive or hyposensitive to the visual stimuli. Look intensely at people and objects. Some children, they intensely look at the people or they intensely look at the object because they're hyposensitive. Their visual sensation is hyposensitive. So they try to look at the people intensely. Some may have squint. Then some children may have difficulty reading facial expressions or social cues. They may stare off into space. The children may have poor eye contact because of the visual sensory issues. Hyperactivity, poor sitting tolerance, vestibular and proprioceptive issues. The children may have poor eye contact. They may find eye contact very stressful. Then auditory system. Auditory, hearing. The children become upset with the loud or unexpected noises, even for toilet flushing or water running or hair dryer. Even when the child is going to the toilet, that toilet flushing sound, it also irritates the child. That much hypersensitivity the child is having. Auditory hypersensitivity the child is having. Then the child will continuously hum or sing to screen out unwanted noise. If he is in the crowd, if the child is in the crowd, he is exposing to so many sounds, so many noises in that crowd, in his area. So to avoid those sounds, he may hum himself. He will do humming, singing to avoid those unwanted sounds, noise. The child may get easily distracted by the noises. He covers his ears with hands to screen out the loud, hollow sounds of the bathroom. This is very common with the child with autism. Then children have to do self-care skills outside the bathroom. Most of the children, because of this irritation of the toilet flushing sound or bathroom sounds of the tap, water running from the tap, toilet flushing sound, some of the children, they want to do bathroom activities like brushing, facing wash, they want to do outside the bathroom because of the reflected sound is intolerable to them. They may have difficulty with clothing which makes noise when the body moves. Some clothes, they make sounds also, like Terylene Terrycot, it makes sounds, friction sounds, specifically in winter season. The child may get irritated with that sound. The children appear not to hear even when they called. So this is a very common symptom for the children with autism. When the parents are calling them, they don't give response. If the mother is calling the child by his or her name, the child will not respond to the mother's call. Then have difficulty eating when someone else is eating or talking. The child may get irritated if someone is sitting beside him and eating or talking along with other person only sitting beside the child. He get irritation with that eating sound or talking sound. Dislike the sound inside his head while chewing. When the child is chewing food, so with that chewing sound inside his head, he get irritated with that sound if the child is hypersensitive to the auditory system. Prefer activities that enable screening of auditory input. Get fascinated by certain sounds and repeat them often. Certain sounds they like tapping on the table, they like. Then tapping of some, flapping some toys, some sound making toys. If the child is he's liking that sound, he likes that sound, then he will repeat that sound continuously. Stop playing in the presence of unfamiliar sounds. Seem not to be a part of the social play, again because of the crowd sound, the sound in the crowd. He get irritated with that sound. He dislikes the crowd and noisy places, and the children are oversensitive to the sounds of others, so they cover their ears to avoid those sounds. Olfactory and gustatory systems. Olfactory related to the tongue, olfactory related to the smell, and gustatory related to the tongue. The children with autism, they may have olfactory and gustatory issues regarding the olfactory and gustatory systems. The children dislike strong smells or taste. Strong smells, any smell, जैसे like flower, strong smells of the flowers. So with the smell of the flower, the child may get irritated, or with the strong taste. So the children, they resist those food items because of those strong smell and strong taste. The child, he doesn't like to eat that food. Then eat non-edible items. Again, pica, because of hyposensitive to tactile systems, the child will eat non-edible items. Have poor tolerance of perfumes. Most of the children, they smell other people, they smell perfumes, they like to smell soaps of the strong smells, they like to smell for example phenyl or some strong perfumes. They like to smell naphthalene balls. So they need, because they need those smells, it means it is called as they are hyposensitive. The child, he needs those smells or fragrance to smell. He wants that smell. After some time, by smelling that the same perfume or the same thing what he wants to smell, after some time, if that need is required, satisfied, if the need is gratified, the child will stop that behavior. We observe so many children. The child is, he wants to smell that perfume. He wants to smell that toothpaste. At present, he needs it because his olfactory system, it needs that smell. He wants that smell. After some time, when the need is gratified, the child will not smell that thing or that object. Till the gratification of the need, the child will show that behavior. After fulfilling that need, he will not show that behavior. Okay. Then the child will hold his nose or gags during self-care activities. Then don't wear new clothing, because the new clothes, it also has some smell, new clothes. Some children, they resist that smell, prefer their clothing to be washed and dried. If the child, he doesn't like that smell of the new clothing, he wants that those clothes should be washed and dried with non-perfumed detergents or fabric softener. Show hesitation to try new foods, again because of the strong taste or strong smells. They are picky eaters, again because of olfactory and gustatory issues. They are picky eaters. They become upset with the smell of the food as it is being cooked in home also. In the kitchen, if food is cooking and that smell the child is not liking, he hates that food, that smell. So he becomes upset with that smell. He or she becomes upset with that smell. Then the children exhibit excessive need to smell items or people. Just now I told, we see most of the children, observe most of the children, they want to smell other people for their perfumes, perfumes or the talcum powder. Yeah, soaps also at home, they smell soaps of the strong smells. Then some children, they react negatively when people wear new clothes because they are hypersensitive to the smells of those new clothes. The display a very small personal space as proximity is needed to smell someone. Personal space, very low personal space, because if they want to smell, if they like that smell a lot, then the child will go near to the near to that person, and he will smell that person. So what the other person will think, he's showing a he's not showing a proper behavior, proper social behavior. He's showing some non behavior that is not accepted by the society. But if the special child is behaving in some way, he's coming and he's coming close to the person, and he wants to smell that person because he needs that smell. He wants to smell that specific perfume. So again, I want to tell you ki if we are seeing any behavior in the child, there should be some reason behind the behaviors of the children. We should find out, okay, the child is coming to me. Why? Maybe he wants something from me, and he wants to communicate with me. We should think in this way. Okay. Then the children are hyposensitive to taste and may snack on crayons or chalk. If the child is hyposensitive, the child may have that snack. The child will try crayons also or chalk pieces also, because he's hyposensitive. He wants to find out that taste. So he will eat chalks or crayons. Then they may smell or taste toys prior to the play. Most of the children, before touching that toy up, before start playing with that toy, the child will hold the toy and he will smell. You know, normally also when the small kid will start playing with the toys, first the child take the toy and he puts in his mouth. Yeah, he smells to those objects or toys. Dislike new toys or toys with a strong smell, then licks others in order to interact. It is a way of communication. Just now I told. Children are having different ways to interact with others. If the child is coming closer to any person, licking others, licking like if small child is coming close to any person and is holding his hand and licking, it means he wants to interact with that person, because he is not able to communicate verbally, because he is not able to communicate visually. He is licking that person's finger. Overreact to new people or new scents. Again, crowd. Children may get irritated in the place of crowd, because in crowd there may be a lots of scents of the clothes or perfumes. Though most of the children with autism spectrum disorder, they overreact, means they start to show their behavior issues because they get irritated with the new people, with the crowd place, and to the new scents of the perfumes. So this is about the okay. So this is about all the sensory issues of the people with intellectual disability, or we can say specifically the people with autism spectrum disorder. So at last I want to say, Yuki, because of these sensory issues in all these areas, the people, they are having behavior issues because of the sensory issues, and because they are not able to communicate in a proper way, they show their behavior issues. Behavior issues, again, this is the way of communicating with other people. So whenever we are seeing any communication problem or behavior issues with the child, we should find out what is the reason behind this issue of a particular issue of a child. So I think this is a very important information, valuable information, and very useful, I think so, for all of you. Okay, participants?
Hi, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Any doubts you can ask? Hello. If you people are having any doubts, you can ask.
Good morning, madam. This is Dr. Krishna Kumari from Vijayawada,
Yes.
dealing with many ASD children.
थोड़ा sound बड़ा कर सकते हैं?
So, madam, are you able to hear me, madam?
I'm not listening you properly.
Yeah. Able to hear
Speak
now?
loudly. No? Speak loudly.
Okay, madam. I'm working with many ASD children.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Tell me.
Yeah. Working with many ASD children, madam.
Acha.
Most of some of the children are showing the behavior of not wearing dress or not feeling of shyness. They are moving without a clothes. How can we control that habit? And some of the children, most of the children are the adults and ASD children rub their genitals. How to
Yes.
control that behavior?
For those, it's a tactile behavior issue, madam. This is the child is having is hypersensitive to the tactile stimulation. So you just give body massage to the child. After some time, that behavior issue will reduce. He needs continuously body massage. Then oil massage. Massage with olive oil. Body massage with olive oil. Okay.
Okay.
And
Most of
you
the
can use different scrubbers, soft scrubbers for the body massage. The child may get some time to overcome that issue, but definitely it will come down one day.
Okay, most of the autism children are showing that the same behavior. They are
Achha.
touching genitals always in the classrooms also. It's becoming difficult to control that habit.
In washroom?
No. In the classroom itself, they are touching the genitals and they are trying to touching the other genitals also.
If the children are about 10 years, 11 years, that is self-stimulatory behavior. It's a self-stimulatory behavior because they are getting now puberty stage, right? They are getting biological changes in their body. Biological changes inside the body, so they are showing such behaviors. So just tell the child to go inside the bathroom. Then after some time he will come out. Okay. Self-stimulatory behavior because they are coming now in the puberty stage. So they don't know how to behave in a social manner, right? Normal children, they are able to control their sensory issues as system, but the children with autism, they don't know how to behave in a society or in front of others with those self-stimulatory behavior. So the children or child, he may showing that behavior. You just say the child go inside the bathroom. After some time, he will come out.
Okay. Trying in a different manner with each child with a different strategy.
Or otherwise you can use visual posters, how to behave socially. Okay, no touching private parts in front of others. You can make some visuals, some pictures, photos you can make, and you can show the child how to behave properly in front of others. Good behavior and bad behavior, that also you can use. Okay, ma'am?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Hello, any other? हो गया ना, बैठिए ना.
Actually, many doubts with sensory issues, madam, because every child is different and every child will have different sensory issues and hypos and hyper stimulations need further extension of session, madam, for each and individual sensory issues.
Okay.
Definitely,
okay,
we need more.
Acha. Okay. You can contact me personally also. I will tell you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Please post me your phone number and mail.
You have, you have my number. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, madam.
Okay. Ma'am, can I? Any other issues?
Can I? I'm Percy here. Can I?
Hello?
Yeah, I'm Percy here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Say loudly.
Am I loud enough?
Yes, correct.
Well, this particular typical aspect of them spinning around, flapping their hands, tapping their fingers,
Yes,
and
yes.
spinning as they call,
Mhm.
this is seen very clearly as a very in ASD. Now, the
Acha.
question is what I am trying to understand from various people, including from you,
Okay.
is how to restrict this inappropriate, because when we go to a mall or a place, and the house, everything is fine.
Mm.
How to restrict this? Certain people or therapists have told me that you put them in a corner with a table, a triangular table or something, and let them be restricted
Mm.
or something. Of course, we keep on telling them that this is inappropriate, but that flapping of the hands, because the child is around about 10 to 14 now, or 12 years. So
Okay.
at a certain age, it becomes very inappropriate.
Right. Okay. So what you can do, if whatever the activities or objects your child likes, you can carry those objects, like any sensory material, we can say sensory balls. You find out what is the specific sensory toy for your child, what he likes a lot. You make some one bag, sensory bag, and you should carry those sensory objects with your child. Whenever you are taking him outside, you should carry that sensory bag with you to control your child outside.
That is done.
Understood?
That is
Yes.
being done.
Yes.
That is being done. Is
Okay.
there anything, ma'am, जो कि मतलब कि उसको at home to train him in a certain way or her in a certain way so that they restrict these movements?
If you will stop him, you know what these self-stimulatory behaviors, these are self-regulatory behaviors. They are doing, these are for self-regulation.
Correct.
We have a self-regulatory system, right? But
Correct.
we don't show those behaviors, self-stimulatory behavior, we don't show. But our children that show their self-stimulatory behaviors, that is a way of self-stimulation. It's a way
Correct.
of self-stimulation.
Yeah.
So I don't think so. Okay, we have at home, you should not stop it. If you are going outside, that time you have to maintain those sensory material or his favorite toys. If you are stopping him, your child, he may show some other behaviors.
Correct.
He may show some other behaviors. So
Correct.
I don't think it is useful, or it is a right way to stop him. After some time, after fulfilling his requirement, he will stop that behavior.
Right.
As he will grow, his age will grow, his maturity will grow, his understanding will grow. He will stop that behavior slowly.
Okay. You mean to say at a certain age, it will gradually lessen down?
Because it's a self-regulation process.
Okay,
To
ma'am.
self themselves, they show such behaviors.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome. Yes. Okay, then we will stop here. Anyone else?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Are you able to hear me?
Your name?
Prasad Nandam. It's showing my husband's name.
Acha.
Okay, ma'am, one small doubt. Actually, my child is always focusing on deflections, shadows. While
Always focusing on
shadow.
shadow. Okay.
She's imitating herself by seeing in mirror. How
Acha.
to stop? How to stop this?
Means he is getting fear. He is getting afraid.
No, he is
Continuously he is seeing in the mirror.
not continuously. Sometimes, while seeing her shadow, she is running, she is jumping,
Okay.
she's doing like that.
Then what you do that time, you divert his mind. When he is looking in the mirror, that time you ask him to show his body parts.
Okay.
Okay, you show
But,
him, you ask him his body parts. Then you keep something on his head and tell him to remove from the head. You paste piece of the paper on his forehead, and you asked him to remove that piece of paper by looking at the mirror. You divert his mind.
Okay, at night time also, while seeing the light, she's running. I mean, uh, by seeing her shadow, she's running and jumping. At that time, what I
It
have to
means,
do?
okay, it means she is showing her enthusiasm, she is showing her happiness.
Yes,
Happiness, she
yes.
is becoming happy. It's a way of expressing happiness, right?
Okay, yes, yes, yes.
Okay, yeah, it's a happiness. Communication, she is communicating her happiness through that activity, through that behavior.
Okay, she's, I mean, while seeing her hands and legs, she's jumping, she's picking the object
No
and
problem. You start music, she will start to dance. No
okay,
problem.
okay, okay,
You train her to dance in front of the mirror. It's again
okay,
one activity.
okay, okay,
It will become a physical activity for her, right?
okay, okay, thank you.
Okay.
Ma'am, one question. This is Hema.
Yes.
Ma'am, I have a question with temperature changes. Even as adults, we feel very irritated as with the when the temperature goes very high in summer. So the kid, so how we train them on the temperature changes, like how to make them understand
You are
about
saying about outside, yeah, inside the house.
inside the house only.
Then you use blue color curtains at home.
So we have to maintain a cooler
Yes, you
temperature.
have to maintain because the child is not able to tolerate that temperature.
How we can increase the sensitivity, ma'am? Like we also have the temperature resistance. We increase, no, ma'am, or slowly over age. So how
Yes.
I increase the temperature sensitivity?
As the child will grow, his body will become tolerate. It will become tolerate to able to tolerate that temperature, outside temperature.
Okay.
So after the corona, it will diminish properly with 100%. You expose your child outside, take him to the park, take him to the playgrounds, him or her, and then when he will play on the playgrounds, when he will do physical activities, so his skin will become able to tolerate the temperature,
Okay,
right?
ma'am.
Because now they are sitting inside, it's becoming intolerable to them,
Okay, ma'am.
right? Okay,
Thank
then.
you.
Okay. Okay, bye then. क्या करना है
Thank you, madam. Very nice session.
Oh, thank
Thank
you,
you very
madam.
much, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.